Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets and business apps with O2 Business. Hey guys, Basil here with BTech. This is an HTC 10, that's a One M9 and you're watching our speaker comparison. We'll be measuring the sound with a Huawei P9 and if you want to win one, check out Gina's last Friday update video linked in the description below. All the details are there. You need to enter by this Thursday, end of the day UK time, so make sure you do that pronto. Global competition so everyone is eligible. Back to these phones, the HTC 10 is HTC's beautiful new flagship. A weird speaker setup. You've got a front firing speaker at the top, bottom firing speaker at the base. Music mode, the top firing speaker acts as something like a tweeter, then you've got a sub at the bottom. It's not really a subwoofer, but it sort of actually is, as opposed to two front firing speakers for a traditional stereo setup. But how do they stack up against one another? Well, that's what this video is all about, so let's get to it. We have some boom boom dance music right here. Creeping into the 70s. Oh, would you look at that? The HTC 10 is louder than the HTC One M9. Worth noting for anyone who's watching this and wants to know our speaker setup, we have an external microphone plugged into our DSLR sat atop the DSLR, so you're basically facing what you're hearing. So while the HTC One M9 is probably pushing the sound more upwards, the HTC 10 is pushing it up and at the base as well, and you're probably getting a rounder but more peripheral experience. I would have actually expected the M9 based on that to be a little bit louder because it has the speakers kind of pointed more at the microphone, but it isn't. Anyway, volume aside, let's see how it copes with some Aretha. Beautifully rounded.
Don't play that song for me, 'cause it brings back memories.
Interesting. So it almost sounds like the HTC One M9. It's the metal, the tinniness of the phone, dare I say, kind of comes through in the voice. It's kind of nice in a way because it adds a raspiness to the voice, but the raspiness really probably isn't there. It generally feels like it sounds better on the HTC 10. If you watch my Nexus 6P comparison, you'll notice this song in particular, it kind of felt like the voice kind of sounded like it came out of the tweeter, whereas the piano sounded like it kind of came out of the bottom. That separation actually creates for a rounder, if less kind of like sharp experience. The sharp experience can be nice with some tracks, but that was really beautifully put across on the HTC 10. But how about some boom boom bass where you just want it all thrown in your face?
Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control.
Okay.
Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control.
Okay, so the HTC 10 has additional volume. As far as like bass goes, you're not really going to get bass as such from something this size, but the HTC One M9 definitely feels like it has more tinniness, maybe hampering that bass, whereas the 10, like just generally a more rounded sound experience overall. Give us some classical now. Lovely. Okay, so the HTC One M9 again with the drawn out strings just sounded that little bit pitchy, a little bit sharper, a little bit shriller actually, but it didn't, neither sounded bad. The HTC 10 was louder. I'd say both of them. The HTC 10's easier listening. I didn't necessarily pick up on much better differentiation of strings on it over the M9 though. So yeah, both sounded good. You just got a bit more pitchiness with the HTC One M9. And now opera time. Could listen to that all day. So as that song was starting, I'll actually start it so you can hear what I'm talking about. There's a kind of murmur, a kind of hum. I'll start it on the HTC One M9. That murmur, that like it kind of comes through on the M9 but doesn't come through on the 10, which really, I don't know if that indicates that the M9 is getting more kind of qualities across, or whether it means that the HTC 10 is able to differentiate between what goes out of where, and as a result only pick up on the good stuff, because without that background kind of drone that the HTC 9 carried forward, the HTC 10 just sounded better, even though at the high pitches and like throughout the whole singing, they both sounded freaking beautiful. But it's a beautiful song, so that's not too surprising. Now I'm gonna play a little bit of pop to just see which one works better with some nice drawn out vocals. Okay, and okay, that's cool. If you noticed, well, if you remember in my Nexus 6P comparison, the 6P with those long kind of vocals, the drawn out ones, it made it sound pitchier than it was. It made it sound actually unpleasant, whereas actually, obviously, it's well-sung songs, so it sounds good, and both of these made it sound good. Thank goodness for that. As for which sounded better, I preferred the HTC 10 because it gave you that additional volume. It was again less tinny, and I think that conclusively states that the HTC 10 is the louder of the two. The HTC One M9 produces some beautiful clarity and gets a full spectrum of sound in, but the spectrum of sound that the HTC 10 picks out seems to just sound easier on the ears. I could imagine myself listening to that for longer. What do you guys think? Obviously, we recorded this on a mic facing them, so you're going to form your own opinions. If you've got any questions about either of these, fire them in the comments section below. If you want us to try anything that we haven't tried out yet, again, do the same. We'll be comparing it against the Z5 Premium, that's the HTC 10, as well as a couple of other stereo speaker devices. Remember also, if you haven't entered the competition already to win a Huawei P9, be sure to do so by watching Gina's Friday update video. Have a good one. Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets and business apps with O2 Business.